we became a town in 1901, and then once that was incorporated as a town, and aldermen thought that they should have a place in the town downtown as a civic center, and so in 1902 they ended up purchasing this land. What I understood was that it ended up in a legal battle for about 10 years until about 1912. And then from there, it got settled into the town's favor. And then they ended up putting a pool and a playground on it. I believe it was kind of an open area for people to gather at. As it went on, they ended up building a building just over here that housed the town center, a fire hall. Can't remember what else was all in it over here. And then they built the armories. I think in 1913 they got money from the government to build the armories on the site as well, so they ended up building that. And then in 1949, Hugh Gilchrist, who was the superintendent of parks at that time, thought that it'd be a great idea to create an ornamental garden, kind of what you see today, and it got passed by a 5-4 vote. So one vote decided to what we have here today. And so it went ahead under some controversy because it was $1,800 to do that, which didn't make too many people happy, but because of that decision, we have a beautiful park today. And so I believe it got built the following year. So when you look at it, what we're standing in is the original part of the park. Some of these beds and the perennials and that have been here since back then. They added on in, I believe it was 1964, when they built the City Hall here, and they tore down the old one, and then they incorporated the park that you see out over there as part of City Hall Park. And then the library got built, I think, in '67 for the centennial. And this is how the square sits now. Hi, I'm Joe Pels. I'm a Foreman 2 with Parks and Public Works. The division that I work under is Sports Fields, Cemeteries, and Horticulture.
Hi there, I'm Carrie Vivier. I am a Parks Labor 2 with the City of Red Deer, reassigned as a Foreman 1.
And hi, I'm Tanya Waringa, and I'm a Parks Labor 2 with the City of Red Deer. Yeah, we've been working together for almost 11 years now.
Yes.
And we've always had a really good relationship. Mm-hmm. And I think where I have strengths, you balance me, like we balance each other very well. Yeah. And we find ways to communicate no matter what's going on.
Yeah.
So, and then we're able to communicate with the rest of the crew and play to their strengths as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, I agree with everything Dan just said. What we do for the city is we work in the beautiful City Hall Park mainly, but we also have other areas that we look after. Summertime, we look after the beds. We design flower beds, then we plant the flower beds, and then we maintain them. But also with that, we do all the mowing, the weed whacking, and the weeding of the beds. Once that's all looked after, we just maintain it, but then we also do other outside areas, which includes Ross Street Patio, which we plant flowers there. Veterans Park, we have flowers there. And then
we also have Town Center, where we plant flowers and maintain some perennial beds. We do the war graves at Red Deer Cemetery. We also maintain many of the green spaces throughout the downtown by mowing and maintaining the shrub beds.
Okay, so I started with the city in 1982. I started with Public Works. I started tarring roads. They needed help in parks. I got transferred to parks, got full-time in '86, and then in August of 2003, the head gardener at that time decided to leave, and I looked at an opportunity and said, hey, this is something that I want to do, and I approached him and said, hey, I'd like this job, and I've been here ever since 2003, looking after the park and the Christmas lights, and look after the downtown as well. it was created for people to come and a place to gather, to sit, to quiet time. We get a lot of people from lunch times coming in here, families coming in here to sit and relax and take a breather from the work day or from the work lunch hour and coffee breaks. Some people hold meetings in here and stuff. So it's been a real great place in the center of a town, the center of our city, that you can come and see 59 flower beds with 40,000 annuals planted in it yearly. So in the beginning, I would plan the beds. Now I have staff that do it. So I have Carrie Vivier. She's kind of my next in line. She kind of starts it and gets a lot of the people involved. And if there's something major going on, like we had the 2006 Summer Games, we had Canada 150, we've had 100 years of the centennial from Red Deer. So when we have that, we try to do the logos in that big square bed over there. We'll do the picture of their logo. We'll write some inspiring words or a hashtag or something that involves with that. And then the rest of the beds, we kind of do designs. We kind of do a superhero theme. We've done Batman, Superman, in the beds. We've done carriages and rainbows and a gnome, a rocket ship. So we kind of try and be creative in the beds when they're planting the flowers and stuff and designing the beds. And that starts in February, that we kind of start designing and stuff like that. And so that when we go to plant after the May long weekend, we're just ready to go and kind of know what we go, and we just allow them to go and plant their flowers. Ready to go and kind of know what we go, and we just give them their plans and allow them to go and plant their flowers.
With the planting of the flower beds, we order all our flowers. So we do that in October when we go through the lists and decide what we want. If there's new flowers that we'd like to check out or try, we put those on the list. And then from there, we organize with the greenhouse that this is what we're wanting, so we've got that confirmed. Then we go through that list and we do the designing of the beds. And most of the time, those designs just come from our heads, and then they get put down onto paper. And then we decide, we pretty much know just from experience how many flats go into each bed. And then from there, we just kind of keep that list going so that we've got all the beds figured out on what is going in them.
And then come May, the flowers are delivered. We keep them all at the park in a secure little fenced off area. And then we actually have, our crew grows by a few staff because we have helpers that come. And it takes us usually about 2 weeks of 12-hour days to get all the flowers in. And they go based off the designs that have been made. And it's always pretty rewarding to see them come to life.
Definitely.
And then, after that, it's just watering, weeding, watching them grow, and filling in.
In the City Hall Park and our other areas, we do not use any chemical fertilizer. It is all natural, organic fertilizer that we purchase. We have been doing it for 10 plus years. And I find that it really has improved our grass. Like, many people come and sit in our grass, and it's very soft. People take off their shoes, they stretch out on it. And then with our machinery that we use, it is all 99%. It is battery operated, from our lawnmowers to our trimmers, our weed trimmers, and even we have one backpack blower that is battery operated. So we're trying to get away from the gas. and the noise. The battery operated are a lot quieter, so we're not being as intrusive to anybody that happens to be trying to enjoy the park.
So what we had in the big theme bed this year, because it was the year of the garden, they really didn't have a logo, so we just put the lettering in that great big bed saying Year of the Garden 2022. And then in the what we call the letter bed, we just had some inspirational messages. This side said belief in yourself with a pun on, instead of believe, we did belief as a leaf on a tree. And the other side, you know what, offhand I can't remember what it is. I didn't have, what did they say on the other side? I just can't at the moment remember what's on the other side, but we always put something, some message in there, some inspirational, you know, lettering that we would put in that people can read, you know, and try and figure out, because sometimes you can't always see it, but once they figure it out, they kind of have a little chuckle about it. So we always try to do something like that. We always do a picture in that great big bed there. Like I said, if it's something, some big event that's happening, you know, like I said, we've done the Canada 150, we did the, when we had the Winter Games the season before, we put the City of Red Deer logo in there, and then in all the beds, we kind of did pictures of the different events. And so we try to do stuff like that, and so we kind of keep it in that way, knowing I have to know a year ahead of time what's coming up, and so we will always gear something towards that, and if not, we'll just pick something and we'll do a picture in the bed, and we'll do some other kind of inspirational words to inspire people. You know, stop and smell the roses, or, you know, stuff like that, just to give something to people to kind of figure out what's going on in the park. Same with the pictures that we do in the beds. You can't always see them, but if you take your camera and take a picture of them and then look at the camera, you'll be able to tell the picture in the bed. So several of them have pictures in them, and just a little tidbit for people to know.
Well, last year was Year of the Garden, so they did have a design that we did copy for the theme bed, and that was what was put in there. So that was, for us, that was fairly easy. We didn't have to come up with any design for that bed. And then in the raised bed, as we call it, which is our letter bed, where we put the words in, we wrote in there Year of the Garden. When we're coming up with a design that is like one-dimensional on the ground, we have the designer with the city, the urban designer. He will print it out on onto the computer, and then he puts it onto paper. So we'll have these huge shapes that we will actually pin down onto the ground, trace it out with the end of our rakes, and then quickly, as fast as we can, do the outline of the shape, and then we can get rid of that pattern and then just kind of work from there. Some of it is actually freehand done also. Each little letter is 2 feet across, so we just, the shape or the length of the bed just divided by how many letters and spaces are in the words that we're using for that year. So it just works out, you know, if there's 27 spaces, then we just block off 27, and then we just freehand in the letters. I guess we have some pretty good staff that know how to write, so because it always turns out well. Like, no matter who is it that is doing the writing, it works out really nicely.
Yes, we have we've done butterflies and stuff like that. So it just gives something to say, what are they doing this year? Come on down, let's see what is different, because we always try to change it up. Same with the Christmas lights. Hardly ever there's a tree that's the same color the same year, the following year and stuff. So we always try to keep it new and exciting and for people to come down and to figure out what we're doing this year and what some of the pictures are, what the theme is, you know, what we're saying in the letter bed, those sorts of things.
And then with the other beds, we found out just in doing the beds that working more with designs that are a bit more on the simpler side than the more complex ones, they turn out way better, because if we have a bed, we have too many different shapes and the flowers just get all they just grow into each other. So we've learned just from experience that more of the simpler designs work better than the complex ones.
Well, it's a central place for people that don't have a yard or can't plant flowers and stuff. So it's a place where they can come down and see it, and a lot of different varieties of flowers that we plant down here, where they can just come and enjoy it without the work behind it, right? So it's a great place. You know, they've had protests in the park. The mayor's made announcements. You know, we have different special events group that come in and will use the park. We have the mayor's garden party. We've had in the past the Red Deer Lights the Night, where we light up the park. And then there's different service groups that will come in and set up information booths and stuff like that. So it's used for a very diverse amount of stuff that down here. They have had vigils down here and stuff as well. So it gives a central spot for people to come down to. Well, it's a place for people to come and relax and have a time. Like, I mean, lots of people come and have pictures here, graduations, we've had small weddings in here, family pictures, just overall it's just a place to come, relax if you're downtown, if you work in any of these office buildings, to come out and just enjoy the sun, the flowers, you know, the colors. At Christmas time, is all the lights that go up in that as well. So people come from all over to see that. And so it was always designed to be kind of a peaceful place, just a place to sit, relax, collect your thoughts, those sorts of things.
We used to, when I first started with the city, we had gas-powered lawnmowers and pretty much gas-powered everything. We are switching pretty much 100% to everything is battery operated. Lawnmowers, leaf blowers, weed whackers, trimmers, everything is battery operated now. And for years we have been doing organic fertilizer in the park. We don't do anything that's synthetic.
Well, for one, we're about 95% chemically free down here. When I looked at the park, and I had a young family at the time, and I saw people sitting on the grass, and I thought, I don't want to spray any chemical in there, knowing that people are touching that, people are taking off their shoes. And so we manually look after the dandelions. We kind of do a blitz first thing in the spring, and we just dig them out all by hand, and then we just kind of manage them. When I walk through the park and see a dandelion flower, I kind of pick them. The fertilizer we use is an organic fertilizer. We did a trial with it in 2009, and it's done wonders for the park. We don't even use probably about a quarter of the water that we would have before that program ever started. It pushed the roots down. It is fixing the soil so that we have a healthy grass. As that goes, I've gone to battery-operated lawnmowers and weed eaters and that, so we don't have the gas and the oil. So we're trying to reduce our footprint down here. All the lights at Christmas time, everything is LED. So it's not much to light up this park, how people see it. And so those are stuff that, a lot of people don't know about or don't see that. And, we mow the park twice a week. to keep the grass looking like this, but we don't water the grass overly, you know, spots. We do it in spots. We focus on the flowers, and so we try to keep it that way. I just like feel good about knowing that people can sit on the lawn, take off their shoes, touch the grass, and not feel like, you know, they've got chemical on their hands, that we sprayed it for, you know, a lot of the what we call weeds that we have nowadays.
I think just how Ross Street Patio has developed into what it is now. It was just a set up, tear down, temporary park, and now it's become more of a permanent, with, you know, a nice fence that's around it with the barrier planter, and they've got the lights that the canopy lights that hang above it, and they have many events there in the summertime and wintertime for the community to come out and be part and participate in it.
Yeah, it really brings people together, and they do like to gather there, so it's really nice to see them enjoying the work we've done there.
Yeah, we get compliments year round, like, from the public on how beautiful, whether it's the flowers in the summer or the Christmas lights in the winter. So it's very rewarding that way with our job.
Yes, in 2011 it was recognized by the Heritage. It got the Heritage Award. What was it called? Heritage Recognition Award. So it's been recognized as that. They really consider that middle path that goes through this side as the original part of the park, as the historic side of the park. But overall, they've recognized it as that. The Advocate in, I think it was 2018, had a survey out there, and the citizens picked this as one of the nicest places in, you know, in Red Deer to come and stuff like that. So it's kind of had, those are the biggest kind of ones that I know of, but people all over. We used to carry a guest book here, and people would sign it, and there'd be people from all over the world that would come down and sign it. And I have people that come to me and say, oh yeah, my mom's from England, and when she's down we come through the park and she always wants to know what it looks like and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people that come down here and from all over, and just come here specifically to see the gardens and that. At Christmas time they come to see the lights. So it's got lots of potential for people to come and enjoy it.
Ross Street Patio was designed as a public spot to come to, for people to sit and enjoy at the local restaurants. And they also have a stage where they do have events in the summertime and in the winter. We also have flowers there along we call them the barrier planter, which just brings in some softness and some color into the little patio. That was designed, it was torn down, brought back, like it was just a temporary little patio for a while, and then they decided they would keep it in. And it has turned out, in my opinion, to be a nice little patio now that it's more permanent with the fencing and the canopy lights that they put up. I have gardened at home, and the more I do this job though, the more I find that I'm more going towards the perennials. As you know, people say, what kind of a job that you do, you tend to not do it as much at home. But I do have flower beds. I cannot not be around the flowers. I have a lot of planters that I keep there.
This actually, I've been with the city 36 years. Doing this park has been the highlight of that. Love it, enjoy it. you know, you can't be in here more than 20 minutes and someone goes, oh, it's so beautiful, it's great. It's a great thing for Red Deer. There's not too many cities or towns that I know of that has a park like this in your downtown. You know, we don't have high rises that are blocking out the sun anywhere. It's a green space in the center of our town, and it's awesome. I love the job. I kind of say to people, welcome to my backyard. You know, I've got a great staff that helps to maintain this, and you know, we do the best job we can at having it look the way it looks, both all year round. You know, there's always something going on here, and you know, get people to come out and enjoy it. I know there's people that have lived in Red Deer that kind of drive by and don't really come into the park, and you know, come down and see our park. And you know, Christmas time, we're getting ready for Christmas, so we're putting up Christmas lights now, and so that's a big season for it. It's almost as big as the annuals are getting planted, and you know, the flowers blooming, and that is the Christmas season. So it's a great park. I just want everybody to come and enjoy what we've got here. It was a great thing. It was a one vote that got to what we see here today, and if it wasn't for that vote, there'd probably be buildings here, a parking lot. We wouldn't have this beautiful park. So I'm thankful to be a part of it and to be able to work here. It's been great.